All right, so we'll get started. I have someone I want to introduce you to. This is the goddess Durga. And I love this book, this little book of Hindu deities, great illustrations and explanations. And Durga means invincible. And she's this powerful goddess. In fact, all of the most powerful gods each gave her a piece of their power so that she could fight in this battle for them. And she battles against suffering and injustice, and she brings kindness and harmony. And she's fearless. She's afraid of nothing. And so, what these gods and goddesses are really are symbols. They represent different aspects of ourselves. And so this is an aspect of myself that I often like to cultivate or bring to the surface because I'm not one for conflict. I rarely feel, really fierce. And so it's something that I like to try to surface once in a while. And so we're going to practice this morning with a little bit of fierceness and trying to bring that to the surface. And, maybe that's something that's easy for you. And there may be a different aspect of yourselves that you want to try to bring to the surface this morning. And so that's great as well. So we're just going to start in an extended child's pose. So if you come to your mat and bring your knees wide apart, bring your hips to your heels, and just walk your hands far forward and rest your forehead on the mat. And then just close your eyes and maybe envision Durga or anything that helps you to start to surface, an aspect of yourself, possibly this fierce, powerful warrior. And so these images of these deities is a way of giving us that visualization, because as humans, we really like and sometimes need an image to connect with. And it can be different for all of us. So just bring an image to mind. Maybe set an intention to approach your yoga poses today with this fierceness. And then take a big deep breath in. And as you exhale, walk both hands way over to the left. Sit back into the right hip. Crawl the right fingertips further away so that you feel a stretch in the right side body. And with your next inhale, walk your hands forward again. And as you exhale, walk both hands way over to the right. Sit back into the left hip, crawl the left fingertips far away, and breathe into that left side body. And with your next inhale, walk your hands forward again. As far forward as you can, hands shoulder width apart, and then come onto your spider fingers, so lifting the palms and just dropping the armpits a little closer to the mat. And then bring the heel of the hands down and lift all 10 fingers and spread them wide. Just pressing out through the palms. And then release the hands flat on the mat. On your next breath in, pull yourself up to table. So bring the knees in to stack underneath the hips. Shoulders stack over the wrists. Fingers are spread wide. And we'll begin warming up the spine with some cat-cow movements. So as you exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck your chin, broaden the shoulder blades towards the sky. And then as you inhale, start to lift the tailbone, lift your gaze, shoulders draw back towards the hips. And then just continue moving at your pace with your breath. On your next inhale, we'll return to table, finding that neutral spine. Okay, and then we're going to extend the right leg back behind. Okay. So press back through the heel and just kind of rock forward and back a couple of times, finding that stretch in the calf and the hamstring. Okay, and then inhale, lift that right leg, so it's an extension of the spine. And then we're going to also lift and extend the left arm forward. So draw the navel in, find that power at your center, moving your energy from your center out through the lifted limbs. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bring elbow and knee towards each other underneath you as you round back. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, lengthen, and hold here. So again, really engage the core, find that power. If you want to, you could bend the lifted leg, maybe reach back towards the foot or even capturing the foot, pressing the foot away from the body. Finding a stretch in the quad, inviting some balance into our practice already. And then inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, bring the hands to the mat. Keep that right leg straight, bring the ball of the foot to the mat, and then drop the back heel. Kick your left foot back behind you for a kickstand. And then inhale, reach your right arm towards the sky. Coming into side plank on the knee. And take a deep breath in here, opening through the front body. As you exhale, we're going to start to twist. Feed the right arm underneath the left. Follow it with your gaze. And then inhale, reach up and back. Exhale to twist. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reach up and back. And exhale, return to table. And then we'll switch sides. So we're going to start by extending the left leg back, bring the ball of the foot to the floor, press back through the heel. Rock a little forward and back. You can find that stretch in the calf and the hamstrings. And then draw the navel towards your spine as you lift that left leg. Keep the toes pointing down. And then lift and extend your right arm. Sunbird. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Again, power up your core. Start to build some heat in the belly. And then move the energy out through the lifted limbs. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, curl in. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, lengthen, and hold. Find that power. Really actively reaching forward through the fingertips and back through the heel. You can stay here or option to bend that lifted leg, reaching back, maybe even capturing the foot, pressing the foot away from the body, finding that quad stretch in that balance pose. And then inhale, release the foot, extend. Exhale, bring the hand to the mat. Keep the left leg straight, bring the ball of the foot to the mat again. And then we're going to kick that right foot behind us. Drop the left heel, reach your left arm towards the sky. Take a deep breath in, finding some expansion through the front of the body, reaching back a little bit more with that left hand. And then exhale for the twist. Feed the left hand underneath the right arm. Follow it with your gaze. Inhale, reach up and back. Open through the front body. Exhale, twist. Inhale, open. One more time. Exhale, twist. Inhale, open. And exhale, release back to table. Now keep your hips stacked over your knees. We're going to walk the hands far forward for Anahatasana, melting heart pose. So the arms are straight, the heart drops towards the floor as the hips stay stacked over the knees. So maybe your chin or your chest or your forehead rests on the floor. And then really glue the hands down as you press back through the hips, maybe finding a little more traction in the spine. With your next inhale, glue the elbows down, shift forward, stacking shoulders over elbows, hooking your toes under. We're going to come into a forearm plank. Shoulders stack over elbows, pressing back through the heels. Think of dropping the hips, but then lifting through the inner thighs and drawing that low belly in. Take a couple full breaths in here. You can always drop a knee if you need to. On your next exhale, let's take both knees to the mat and then lower the hips. Untuck your toes, draw your heart forward and your shoulders back. Try to find a little stretch through the front body. You can pretend to drag the elbows back to help bring more length to the torso, to the abdominals. Just gazing down at the top of your mat or between your thumbs. And then slide the hands back so the hands are underneath the shoulders. Inhale, press up through table. Exhale, back to extended child's pose, hips to heels. Forehead rests on the floor. Take a couple deep breaths into that back body. And with your next inhale, we're going to start to make our way into a downward facing dog. So lifting the hips and pressing the hips up and back. Keep the knees deeply bent for the first few breaths. Maybe find some wiggle. Just easing into this first down dog of the morning. And then you can start to straighten the legs if you want to. Never straightening them all the way. Always make sure there's at least some kind of bend in the knees. You're pressing your heart back towards your thighs. And on your next inhale, lift the right leg high. Bend the knee, flex the foot, open your hips. So turning that right knee towards the sky. Keep pressing into the hands. And then inhale, straighten out that right leg, level out the hips. As you exhale, you're going to step the right foot forward to the outside of the right into this lizard lunge. Maybe rocking a little bit forward and back, or bending and straightening the front leg. Finding a wiggle again before we settle in to the full pose. So then, keeping that front knee bent, you have some options here. You can glue your hands to the mat underneath the shoulders and just work to lengthen the heart forward. You can drop the back knee if you'd like. You could lower down to one or both elbows, or bring elbows onto a block. And then perhaps rolling onto the outer edge of that right foot to open the knee, getting into that inner right thigh. And so find your expression of this pose, whatever feels fierce and yet kind to yourself. Now you want an intense stretch, but we don't want to push ourselves to a point of injury. So wherever you are, reconnect with your breath. Maybe practice samavriti, which means equal flow. So it's helpful to count. So we would inhale to the count of 4, if that number works for you, and then exhale to the same number. Equal inhales, equal exhales. With your next inhale, if your hands are not already on the mat, bring your hands back to the mat. If the back knee is lifted, go ahead and place the back knee down. Okay. Bring your left hand right underneath your chest. Option to bend that back leg. Okay, so it gets into the quads here. And then another option, if you want to, you can reach back with that right hand, either towards the foot, or again, if you can capture it, go ahead and grab hold of it, but flex the foot and let your hips reach forward again. A quad stretch, a little bit of a shoulder stretch as well. And then release, bringing both hands back to the mat again. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, and then step back to downward facing dog. Feel free to kind of shake it out a little bit. And then with your next breath in, we're going to lift the left leg high. Bend the knee, flex the foot, turning that knee towards the sky to open the hips. Keep pressing equally into both hands, drawing the heart towards the back of your mat. And then inhale, straighten out that left leg, level out the hips. Exhale, step that left foot forward to the outside of the left hand. You can take a moment to wiggle, maybe rocking forward and back, or swiveling the hips a little bit. And then as you're ready, settling into your expression of this pose. So again, listen to your body. There's lots of options. You can keep the back knee lifted or drop it. You can stay on the hands and just draw the heart forward, or you can lower down to one or both elbows. And then another option is to roll onto the outer edge of that left foot, letting the knee open, getting into that inner left thigh. And then bring your focus to breath. Practice samavriti. Equal inhale, equal exhale. So if you inhale to the count of 4 or 5, you exhale to that same number. And then if you're not already on your hands, bring your hands back to the mat. If the back knee is lifted, go ahead and bring it back to the mat. And then bring that right hand in right underneath the center of your chest. Maybe bend the back knee. And if you want to, reach back with that left hand, either reaching towards the foot, or if you can capture it, grab at the ankle and flex the foot, and then bring your hips forward again. Having that quad stretch. And then opening the shoulder, maybe gazing over that left shoulder. Good, and then release the foot. Bring the hands back to the mat, underneath the shoulder, tuck the back toes under. Lift the back knee and step back to downward facing dog. Walking it out. With your next inhale, we're going to shift forward to plank. Shoulders stack over the hips. We're going to find a little flow here, so this is a little different. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, drop both heels to the right. Reach the left arm towards the sky. And then exhale back to plank. Inhale here. Exhale, take both heels to the left. Reach your right arm towards the sky. And then exhale to center. And then we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. So inhale, both heels drop to the right. Left arm reaches. Exhale, we switch. Inhale to one side. Exhale to the other. One more on each side. Keep the legs straight unless you need to bring the knees down. Good. And then let's all drop the knees. We'll come into another child's pose, but this time take the hands back by your feet. Rest your forehead on the floor. And then pretend you're squeezing tennis balls and releasing. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. It should be nice release on the wrists. And if your breath got a little labored, like mine did, just start to slow the breath down a little bit. Maybe practicing Samavriti again. Kind of lengthen that count out a little longer. And then when you're ready, walk your hands forward again. We'll make our way back into downward facing dog. Pressing the tailbone up and back. On your next breath in, we're going to lift the right leg towards the sky. Exhale, bring right knee to right elbow as you shift forward, step the shoulders over the wrist. Inhale, extend back to three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to left elbow, twisting. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, step the foot forward between the hands for lunge. And then we're going to drop that back heel. Bring your right elbow to the right knee, palm facing up. Inhale, start to sweep your left arm forward and then up towards the sky as you open the chest. And then as you exhale, it sweeps across the floor in front of you. Inhale, reach up and open. Exhale, sweep it down in front of you. Now, the next time you inhale and reach up, press into that front foot. Keep the knee bent, but come up to warrior two. So nice wide stance in the legs. Back toes are pointing slightly forward. Foot is flat on the mat. Root through the outer edge of that foot. And then make sure the front knee is not stickling inward. So ground through the pinky toe side of the foot. Move that knee outward. Shoulders stack over the hips. Gaze out over your front fingertips. And on your next inhale, we'll come into reverse warrior. Feel the right ribs lifting up and away from the hip. Keep that right knee deeply bent. And then inhale, straighten the front leg for reverse triangle. Exhale, reach forward, let the ribs lead the way, and then rotate the arms for Trikonasana. Ground through the outer edge of the back foot, big toe down on the front foot. Draw the shoulders away from your ears. Build that fire in the belly, that power, and then turn your heart towards the sky. On your next inhale, reach for the sky, come all the way up to the five-pointed star. So facing the side of your mat, toes turned out. As you exhale, we're coming to our goddess pose, since we're honoring our goddess Durga in this practice. So practicing the arms, squeeze the low ribs together, draw the tailbone down, sit a little lower, knees are moving away from each other, and then lift all 10 toes. Steady the breath. And inhale back to our five-pointed star. Exhale back to warrior two. Now with your next inhale, we're going to sweep the left arm forward as you lift the back heel and reach both arms towards the sky, coming into crescent lunge. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring the hands to the mat to frame the front foot, and then step the front foot back and up for the three-legged dog. And then exhale, release the foot down. Inhale, float forward to plank. As you exhale, lower down. You can lower down knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Chaturanga is in your practice. In both cases, the elbows hug the body. And then inhale, draw the heart forward for cobra or maybe an up dog. And then exhale, make your way into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Child's pose is another excellent option. It's a pose we use to pause and even rest a little bit. And if down dog doesn't feel restful to you now, just keep practicing and someday it will. Settle the breath. If you get heated, you can always exhale through the mouth and it helps to cool the body. Good. On your next inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, shift forward, bring left knee to left elbow. Inhale, press it up and back. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, press it up and back. Exhale, step it forward between the hands for lunge. Okay, now drop the back heel, bring your left elbow to your left knee, palms face up. Inhale, sweep the right arm forward and then up towards the sky as you open your front body. Exhale as it sweeps across the floor in front of you. So make a couple more big circles with that right arm, grounding through the outer edge of that back foot. And on your next inhale, as you reach up, we're going to come all the way up to warrior two. So again, nice wide stance here. Make sure that that front knee is not sickling in, so you want to draw it more towards the pinky twitch side of the foot. Root through the outer edge of the back foot, shoulders stack over the hips, tuck the tailbone slightly, gaze out over the front fingers. On your next inhale, we'll come into reverse warrior. Keep that front knee bent. Feel the left ribs lifting up and away from the hip. On your next inhale, straighten the front leg. And then as you exhale, let the ribs lead the way as you reach forward and then rotate the arms for Trikonasana. Tuck the tailbone, squeeze the low ribs, draw shoulders away from the ears. Engage the inner thighs and breathe. On your next inhale, reach for the sky. Come all the way up and find five-pointed star facing the side of your mat. I'm going to turn around just so you guys can see me. You guys should be facing the right way already. So just like we did on the other side, as you exhale, we're going to come into our goddess pose. Okay. So arms are kind of in gold pose position. Squeeze the low ribs, draw the tailbone down, take the knees apart, lift all 10 toes, or you can lift one or both heels. Find your breath, find that fierce goddess within you. On your next inhale, reach up, five-pointed star. Exhale, find warrior two facing the front of your mat again. On your next breath in, we're going to lift the back heel as we sweep the right arm forward and the both arms come up towards the sky in crescent lunge. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Sweep the left leg back and up for three-legged dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Pause here, take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower down, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. So again, listen to your body. Practice with fierceness, but still being kind to yourself. Settle the breath. If you're in the child's pose, make your way back to downward facing dog. With your next breath in, gaze forward. As you exhale, we're going to make our way to the top of our mat. Finding a standing forward fold. Now bend the knees a lot, interlace your hands behind the back. Hug your chin and start to lift the hands away from the body. Head is heavy. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and lift the shoulders away from the ears. And release the hands, bend the knees deeper, sweep the arms up in front for chair pose. The hips are moving back, knees don't go in front of the toes. Sit a little lower, squeeze those low ribs together, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sweep the arms down and back, folding over the bent knees. Inhale, sweep them forward, press into the feet, slowly rise up. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, we're gonna come into eagle pose from here. So with your next inhale, sweep the arms out and up towards the sky. As you exhale, release the arms down, bring left arm under right for eagle arms. And then draw those shoulders down the back. Lift the elbows shoulder height and press the hands away from the face. On your next exhale, we're going to sit back in that chair. Inhale, bring your weight to your right foot, lift the left leg and wrap it around. So maybe you can wrap the toes behind the ankle of the standing foot, or maybe you'd rather use those toes as a kickstand. Either way is fine. And then find a focal point at drishti to anchor your gaze. Squeeze everything in tight like you're wringing out a towel and sit a little lower. your next inhale, start to untwist. Step the feet out wide, reach the arms out wide, and then just twist it out a little bit, swinging the arms side to side. Good. And then coming to center to Tadasana, feet hip width apart. We'll move to the other side. So inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, the arms come down this time, bringing right arm under left, wrapping the arms. If it's difficult to get your palms to touch, you can bring the back of the hands to touch. You can even bring your hands to the shoulders. I'm sorry I didn't offer that the first time. And then draw the shoulders down the back, lift the elbows shoulder height, and press the hands away from your face. On your next exhale, we're going to sit back in our chair. We're going to bring our weight to our left foot. And when you're ready, lift the right leg and wrap it around. So again, maybe you wrap them behind the ankles. Maybe use the toes as a kickstand. Squeeze everything in, find your drishti, sit a little lower, and reconnect with your breath. And with your next inhale, we're going to slowly unwind, step out wide, and twist it out. All right. Good. Then coming back to the top of your mat in Tadasana. Taking hands to heart center to pause for a moment before we begin moving again. Again, trying to cultivate that sense of fearlessness, like a fierce warrior. And then inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, hinge and fold forward. Take a deep breath in, lift halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, shift forward to plank. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're going to shift both heels to the right. Lift your left arm towards the sky. Now take your left foot behind you off the mat, knee bent. Keep the right leg straight, and then press your hips towards the sky for a wild thing. So let this be your expression of your fierce warrior. Maybe you can bring the hand to the heart to let that left shoulder drop back a bit more. Take one more breath in here. Exhale, release back to plank. And we'll come to child's pose and take a moment to pause before we move to the other side. Resting the wrists and the hips, so your choice, you can either keep the hands extended out in front or take the hands back behind you. Settle your breath. And then with your next inhale, we'll start to make our way back to downward facing dog again. Preparing for a wild thing on the other side. So hand shoulder width apart, you're pressing the tailbone up and back. On your next inhale, curl forward to plank. Shoulders stack over the wrists, fingers are spread wide. On your exhale, drop both heels to the left. Reach your right arm towards the sky, and then take your right foot behind you. Press your hips towards the sky. Maybe take that right hand to your heart, dropping that right shoulder. Take one more breath in. Exhale, release back to plank. And we'll take another well-deserved child's pose. Hips to heels. Again, your choice. Hands can stay out in front or back behind. See, it's worth doing all these challenging poses when we get to have so many child's pose. So just send your breath wherever you need to soften more. And then with your next inhale, bring your hands to mat by your knees, bring your torso upright. And then we'll bring our feet forward into the center of your mat. So knees bent, feet out in front of you. Quite a distance, so maybe if you went too much further, your toes might lift off, but you want the soles of your feet flat on the mat. Hold onto your knees, lift the heart. Lean back a little bit. And then inhale, take your arms out wide. As you exhale, we're going to give ourselves a big hug. Round the back, touch your chin, and kind of lean back. And then inhale, draw your heart forward as the arms open wide. Exhale, bring the other arm on top for a hug. Tuck your chin, round the back, lean back. Inhale, the chest draws forward, we open the arms wide. Exhale, alternating the arms again, maybe lowering a little further each time. Inhale, open. Exhale. So get a little core work in here. Now this time hold here, leaning back a little further. If you're trembling, you're doing it perfectly. And then with your next exhale, lowering down as gently as you can, and then stretching out long on the mat. So reach your arms overhead, shift the hips, maybe lengthening through one side and then the other. And then we'll draw the knees in for a hug. So bring the knees in close to your body, rock a little bit side to side. Okay, and then we're going to reach out long again, so extend the legs, reach the arms overhead. This time grabbing opposite elbow, we're going to come into Banana Asana. So we're going to take our upper body to the left and both feet to the left. Make sure to keep both shoulders grounded and both hips grounded. And then if you want a more intense stretch, you could cross right ankle over left. And then just breathe into that right side body. You should feel a nice stretch on the right side of the torso. And make sure that right hip is not lifting off the mat. And then coming to center, let's switch the position of the arm so the other arm is on top. And then we're going to take upper body to the right, both feet to the right. Maybe crossing left ankle over right, again grounding both shoulders and both hips. Feeling that stretch in the left side body. Intensifying the stretch by inhaling into those left ribs. And then inhale back to center. And hug the knees into your chest again. Squeeze them in tight, but then release the hands. Extend the arms out from your shoulders in a T. Bring your knees to stack over the hips and your lower legs parallel to the floor. So you've got right angles at the hips, the knees, and then if you flex your feet, you have a right angle at the ankles as well. So imagine your knees are, if there's a clock in front of you and your knees are pointing up at 12 o'clock, and on your exhale, you're going to ground your right shoulder and move the knees to about 2 o'clock. Just coming over to the left a little bit and then inhaling back to center. Exhale, ground the left shoulder, take your knees to the right to about 10 o'clock. And then inhale back to center. And just continue going side to side, maintaining those right angles. Maybe you come to 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock if you can keep the opposite shoulder grounded and staying in control as much as possible. The next time you come over to your left, we're going to let the knees come all the way to the floor. And then maybe rest your left hand on top of your right knee and just settle into a twist here. Maybe closing the eyes, letting go of all effort, and just allowing yourself to be in stillness, to experience this moment without effort, without thought. And with your next inhale, coming back to center, and then shifting your knees to the right and settling into a twist on the other side. Again, maybe resting your right hand on top of the left knee if that feels right. Closing your eyes, letting go of all effort and just being in the moment in this experience. And with your next inhale, come back to center. Hug the knees in tight, but draw them towards your armpits. And then we're going to reach through between the knees and see if you can capture the feet. I like to grab the outside of the feet. Some people like to grab from the inside. It doesn't matter. You're going to pull the feet down, bringing the knees closer to the floor by your armpits for dead bug pose. And then at the same time, pressing your feet up into the hands. And if you can't quite reach, you can hold on to the calves or the shins and just pull the knees down as the legs press back up for nice symmetry. Good, and then we can start to rock side to side for happy baby. Maybe extending one or both legs straight if that feels right. Just squirming around, finding that release in the low back. Maybe one more final stretch in the legs and the hips. If you want to have plows in your practice, you could bring the feet overhead for plow. Or if you're not coming into plow, just a simple legs up the wall pose is a nice release for the low back. Take about 3 more breaths wherever you are. And then slowly and mindfully release out of the pose and stretch out on your mat for Shavasana. So take up some space, turn the palms up towards the sky, and give yourself permission to completely surrender here. Just hovering in space and time. It's just you and your breath on your mat. Everything else can wait. With your next exhale, see if you can relax 10% more.